The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here he is, Brandon.
I suppose for me it's a bit different because Doctor Who means employment to a degree, as well as being a fan. I mean, I grew up with John Pertwee and Tom Baker as my doctors. As a child, it's probably my favourite programme, together with things like Blake Seven, Star Trek, and it's been with me all my life actually. So it's been very important to me.
Well, the guest of honor at Doctoberfest 2024.
Sounds odd though, doesn't it?
Is it weird to be celebrated like that? Keith
yes,
Barnfather, that's his name, by the way.
That's his name,
That's his name, by the way.
It's all going so well. No, I mean, obviously there has always been over the years, as time has gone by, a degree of recognition by people, which is lovely. But I think if I started feeling comfortable being called an important guest at something, I'd start to worry.
Right, you're very humble from talking to you. Like there's stuff about. I mean, yeah, I can be the same way. I get it. But you've done good work. You've contributed a lot to the history of Doctor Who and then added entertainment with spin-offs and things like that. I kept using the word pioneer.
Some may disagree.
Some may disagree. Some may not have seen yet.
That's true.
That's the
all available at www.timetraveltv.com.
Yes, very much so.
Not that I'm advertising.
And you've given me some work to do as well. Like that's been for the Doctor on Display series.
Yeah, he did brilliantly as well.
The what? Oh yeah, you didn't see me. You just were told. But
well,
hey,
what I received was wonderful.
There we go, and we got more in the future coming. We got the USA tour.
Yep.
And what was it like? Did you experience the USA tour at all, or
no?
What did you heard about it before going into the USA tour?
Well, I mean, most fans in the UK heard about it.
Okay.
And we saw the publicity launch in the UK. But after that, it pretty much went off our radar. I mean, if you think about it, we had our own exhibitions that were bigger and better. And I don't mean that they were, because they were simply bigger and better because the USA tour was a truck.
Yeah.
With a small number of exhibits in it going around the country in America. So I'm in no way am I belittling it. I think it's very important. But obviously the focus for fans in Britain was what was in front of them.
We know what this is. Yeah. Well, so when we were shooting the documentaries somewhat concurrently, the USA tour one was the one that fascinated me because I'd seen blurbs about it on DVDs because I've been too young to have been at experienced that, and my parents didn't take me to those sort of things when they happened. But I'm just listening to this thing, and I'm like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of a train wreck. It's kind of cool. It was fascinating to me, some of the things and the different stories from the people, because while many were like, yeah, it was cool for me as a kid, there are some people who are like, eh. Well, I think it depended on what city you saw it in, too.
Yeah, and I think also it obviously to American fans of the time, it would have been massively important if they knew about it and went to see it either at their local PBS station or at a mall or wherever, because there were different places it stopped at. But it was the first chance you would have to actually see and get close to, and in some cases touch, like Bessie, props from the program. And I think that from everything that I've got from those people that I've interviewed as well, is that was massively important to them. That they felt that they got close to the program, and I think the documentary about it is giving voice to that time and that period and their memories.
Yeah, I would have liked something when I was a kid growing up with that, which is why I'm trying my children to take them to see things like that. Like the minute Jodie Whittaker regenerated, there was a convention. Her first U.S. appearance was a month later in Columbus, Ohio. Took them right there, got them a chance to, got the photo op to meet her, things like that, and they still talk about it this day, because I'm like, yeah, you can really meet the people that you see on TV, and you can work with them, too, that you grew up with as you'd experienced as well.
I think it's always that moment in your life when you meet your hero.
Right.
And I think that stays with you forever. Meeting John Pertwee.
Yeah, you talked about that. We had a panel, by the way, which we can highlight some of the things there as well.
I was interviewed by a really good interviewer.
Yeah. Where did he go?
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Very much. But yeah, we highlighted some of that. But like, in who do you notice in who they seem more attuned to liking collaborations after they're out of the show and stuff like that? They seem more attuned to.
I think what has happened over the years is that Doctor Who has become. We all bandy these terms around,
right.
Phenomenon, whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
But it is amongst the actors who appeared in the program a family.
Yeah.
And I think the fans have a family as well. And there is a sort of crossover now between the two. I've said many times in the past that I think what's also blurred is the relationship between fans and the actors, because way back in the 70s, shall we say, you'd have the program, the fans. Nowadays you have this weird blending of everything. You've got, you have podcast. Look what we're doing here now.
Right here, yes.
This is professional.
Yep.
You would have interviewed actors from the program doing this. So you're a professional, but you're also a fan.
Yep.
So we didn't get that back in the day.
Right.
Now you've got a huge blur in the middle.
True.
Where actors work for fans, or they, because the convention circuit, essentially, they're working for the fans.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. So the whole world has become, not because of the advance of technology as well, the whole world has changed.
Right. Yeah. No, it's easier
That's my deep and philosophical comment for the interview. That's it now. I'm done.
Well, it's easier to connect.
Yeah.
Us working together, it's like much easier nowadays than it would have been. So let's go back to like if you started
well,
in
the technology has also been assisting in that change.
Right, because in the 80s, if you were wanting to kind of cover the stuff we did on this documentary over here in the United States, your process might have been a lot more difficult.
Virtually
likely.
Impossible.
You'd have had to fly over here yourself, look people up. Now you can like call out and stuff.
Yeah. There's also even the simple thing of standards conversion. When I was growing up, right through until I left Channel 4 in 1982, you still, right through until, so I suppose about 2005, you would need to have a standards converter to convert video that was shot in America to the British format and vice versa.
Okay.
Nowadays, you can do it on your computer. And in fact, if you're doing streaming, you don't have to worry about formats at all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, streaming is, while I'm a big proponent of physical media and stuff, I do see that I am not a dying breed, but a more niche breed, and it probably always was. They convinced people like DVD was it for, like the thing to do, and then a lot of people realized maybe I'm not into bonus features and stuff all the time, and streaming was easier, and it's still I use streaming as much as I physical. I think it's a good rental system too.
Yeah.
To do. And yours, so Reeltime, like you get the experience, like you get to watch it or you can buy it, and do you give them a file when you buy it, or do you just access to your site?
We delineate the three completely.
Okay.
You can either buy the DVD, buy the download, or buy the stream.
Okay.
You can do one of the three. The problem for us is the technology involved in providing information to somebody who buys the DVD, which is then has to be tailored purely to them. Otherwise, they could pass that access information to somebody else.
Gotcha.
Blah, blah, blah. And then it's, so you need it to be foolproof, or the best thing to do is just leave them separate.
Gotcha.
Give the people the choice. Give
Right.
you the choice.
Your choice. And if you're a U.S. person, you do have NTSC on your DVDs.
Yes,
Right,
all our
so-
DVDs that are sold here, or by us to here, or by dealers here, are all NTSC. And obviously all of our stuff that is available to download or stream is available in a format that you can play. So, you don't have to worry.
Gotcha. Which ones did you bring with you this weekend to Doctoberfest?
Well, it was mainly the ones that Keith and Janie ordered. Because they brought all the stock over and I came with it. Most of it anyway, in a box.
If you order this much, I come with it free.
I'd say the bubble wrap they needed for me, it took a lot longer to wrap. Most of it is things that and I don't want to speak for Keith, but I think he thought they would sell better, which is the ones that he knows in classic who are the most popular.
Right.
Pertwee, Baker, although he's taken a lot of the Doctors of all the eras, our Mythmakers compilation DVDs. He's also taken things like Return to Devil's End, Who on Earth is Tom Baker, Who is Tom Baker Unauthorized, and some of the other ones that have Tom in it.
He's
he knows
still popular to this day.
Exactly, especially in Classic Who.
Oh, yeah. That's, my personal favorite in the Classic Who era, but, you get the Hinchcliffe era of more horror-based stuff, which... What are the things outside of Doctor Who that interest you? Because you're very, very associated with Doctor Who, but what's on the outside?
Well, as we were talking about in the panel, the company Reeltime itself still is, but was mainly an independent production company, and I would work on anything. So I would be doing corporate business television.
Gotcha.
Some documentaries for other countries. Since I met Anastasia, we've done a lot of Greek language programming for the Mediterranean world, and we're working on some at the moment. But outside of sort of the production work, I suppose my biggest interests are history.
Okay.
I love history, and I think all politicians should have a full history course on the history of the world before they become elected, because most of them seem to have forgotten the lessons of history.
Right.
Okay.
I do give the younger kids, I had a conversation one time with somebody, they don't learn history, right? I'm like, well, when did you graduate school? Okay, how much time has passed since then? They now have to learn that on top of what you learned. It's just so much.
True.
But going in politics, that's a different thing. But yeah, definitely, because we do repeat a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
we won't get into politics.
We do that in America sometimes.
Yeah. I'm saying
currently,
nothing. I want to get home.
Currently.
Someone's taking photographs.
There we go.
We should get.
You're not charging, are you, for that?
I know. Yeah. We should. Catherine, can you take a photograph of us while we?
There we go. This is interesting for.
Yeah. This is really interesting.
Watch behind the scenes of the photograph.
Yeah,
that's what we'll do.
Photograph now. Be back in a sec. Hold on.
There we go.
Get the next question out. Yeah, just do a couple of us because we've got to get it all on Facebook. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
You could have marketing.
Marketing, yeah.
Get everything in. Yeah. Get the cats in. Yeah. I'm doing my director bit. Back. No.
There you go.
We'll carry on.
All right, let me just talk like this. Yes.
Right,
all right.
So it is the fact that I spend so much time now marketing.
Right.
I'll spend an hour, 2 hours a day on Facebook.
Right.
Pushing everything that we're doing because, and I need to do Instagram more.
Right.
We do Tumblr and stuff, but it can eat up your day.
No, that's my least. So people ask me about, because I advise people locally and stuff about podcasting and things like that, and my least favorite thing is sharing it all on social media because it takes so long, and each of your social medias expects a different aspect from
Yes, it is ridiculous.
I have not dove in. I have not dove into TikTok at all, just because TikTok's
Catherine's
a whole
done
nother
the
thing.
photos now. It's all right.
Photos are gonna. It's good. You'll see it.
She's lovely.
You'll see it. But yeah, I haven't even gotten to TikTok because I'm like, that's going to eat up another 20 minutes of my day of posting.
Yeah, I know.
And I sometimes I feel bad for some of my episodes. I just don't have it in me in a week to sit and promote.
Should we finish now then?
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where. Yeah. Dude, I'm sure you're making your living off doing stuff like this too. So that's got to be part of your day.
Not now. No, I'm never going to retire.
Sorry. Yeah.
Right. Because
how many of us are going to get to, these days?
And also, I don't really think. No, and I could retire.
You could?
I
Okay.
could. No, I
you
could.
All
I've
right.
been very lucky.
All
Very
right.
successful business, but I'm not rich, but I could retire.
Right.
But I don't want to because I don't know what people out there think, but I've generally always found that when you stop work, everything starts to stop. For some reason, something within us slows down and we lose the drive in our lives.
Yeah.
Now, nobody wants to sort of completely carry on working at the same level.
No.
But so I've dropped doing corporate and business television now, and
Gotcha.
the only work I do now is essentially this, which isn't work.
Yeah. It's
so
what you're in you to do. You're not, it's like you're one.
Well,
I love
my job. I mean, I loved it. Any corporate job, we were out filming in the wilds of wherever, filming some person talking about their computer. I still loved it.
Right.
Because it was what I do, So.
Now you're on your own time. That's
Yeah, exactly.
Real
Yeah,
time,
this is
your
it.
own time.
This is my own
This
time
is-
now. Yeah, and it's it's choosing the things you want to do rather than doing the things that you have to do.
Right. Yeah. Have you ever? I mean, if there was a, let's try. It's a Doctor Who related question for you
He'll
as a
be
filmmaker.
back in a minute.
Yeah. Tick tock.
Send me a
tick,
postcard.
Tock. Tick tock.
Doody. Anyway, I'll
If you-
talk to you. Oh, you ready?
I got it.
Oh,
I got
wow.
it. So, if you could have directed a serial in any era of Doctor Who, what would have been prime for you with your talents and abilities? Like, which would have fit you the best?
Probably wouldn't have got any story.
Just trying to throw that out there.
Well, I mean, it would have been to. It would have been to either do a Tom Baker or John Pertwee.
Wait, so
Picking between them is really difficult because I would say, although this is odd, right?
Right.
But although if I chose my favourite, it would be the John Pertwee era. But my favourite period within periods is the sort of end of Philip Hinchcliffe, beginning of Graham Williams period.
Okay.
I adore both of those times.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, like, I mean, Image of the Fendale, you know,
Well,
Stones
that's Boucher
of
who
Blood.
did 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and then dropped the mic and went to Blake 7. Like,
Yeah, but there was some
What could have
lovely
been?
stories at the end of the Baker.
Yeah.
You know, the last couple of Philip Hinchcliffe seasons. You know, into
Right.
the first season of Graham Williams.
Yeah, there's
know.
there's like a little bit of a hangover transition.
Yeah, and then
that you can
they
see.
went a bit downhill.
I will say I have. Oddly enough, it was never intended to be in a certain way, but with all we know now, I look on like season 18, Tom's final, with the different lens that strengthens it a bit. Like knowing the attitudes there, and just there's kind of a thing I've written in my mind that I like that fits with it, and it's like a really stronger season to me than before.
You know, I mean, Leisure Hive is
Yeah.
a wonderful story. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I it's one of my favourites of that
Yeah.
time. Unfortunately, Lovett Bigford, who directed it, I was working at
Yeah.
I was working in the BBC
Okay.
late one night.
Right.
I actually worked at the BBC during that period. So
Okay.
what I would used to do, I was in engineering, and I would I could watch Doctor Who in engineering in VT.
Okay.
When they were doing the recordings in the studio. If I wasn't working, if I'd come off duty, I could go upstairs and watch in the gallery, this kind
Okay.
of thing. So it was great, you know. But this particular story, watching the studio recording was
Yeah.
painful
Oh.
because they were just not getting shots in the can. And the director was basically doing single camera film style shooting.
Oh, wow.
Rather than multi-camera
yeah.
studio shooting. I mean, there was occasions he was doing both. But
Yeah.
for the most part, he was trying to shoot it far more paced than you can do in television at that time.
Gotcha.
You know, you've got a certain amount of time to get a Doctor Who story done.
Right.
You've all heard the stories
Yes,
about
lights
10
go
o'clock,
off.
lights go, and it was true. I've seen it happen. I was there. You know, you cannot believe the fact that the lights would just go flick in the middle of a scene.
That's so
sometimes,
crazy.
you know?
Yeah.
But the director, Lovett Bigford, knew this. You know, you sign up for something, you've got to get
Right,
it done,
yeah.
right? Anyway, so that night I finished my my shift, and in those days you used to get a cab home if you're
Okay.
on late.
Right.
So I was on late, so I would finish about midnight,
All right.
maybe 12:30. So I went down to reception, and they call you, and your cab's there.
Okay.
Got in the cab, and somebody else got in the back with me, and we're sort of driving out.
Okay.
And we just sort of smiled at each other, and he said, "Oh, where do you work?" And I said, "Oh, in VT." And he said, "Oh," I said, "Well, what are you doing?" He said, "I was directing Doctor Who," and it was Lovett Bigford.
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Oh, how did that go?" And he went, "I'll never do another one again."
Oh, wow.
It was hell. I mean, it really was a terrible experience for him because he was trying to make something that he didn't have the time to do.
Gotcha.
And that was the big problem. That's why it does look so good, that story.
Yeah.
Because it was shot in a way that you can't afford to shoot
Right.
Doctor Who.
Gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
But I just remember him saying, "I will never do another one."
That's so funny. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well.
And it was
all
so
right.
funny. He was in the cab with me.
You just watched it, left, and he hustled out. Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't say, "Oh, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I'll just put that on." Well, I can't put it on social media. It didn't exist.
No, back then.
But I can let the fans.
Can you
know.
imagine the stuff that would have been?
You have to be. I mean, I don't mean it to sound aggrandizing, but you have to be professional. You can't let that out. I mean, I'll say it now because it doesn't matter.
It's
but
way beyond the fact. Yeah.
You see, it was outside my remit. I was a BBC employee that did not go to the fans.
Gotcha. I hear you. That's great. Yeah. So, how's your Doctoberfest experience been so far?
A strange in a nice way.
Okay.
Because this is utterly unique.
Right.
There's nothing of it. I've never seen an event like it.
They're quick to tell people it's not a con, it's a festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
Desperate, in fact, to tell you it's not a con.
Yeah.
So it isn't a con. That could be misconstrued.
Yes.
You're not being conned,
Yes.
you're being festivaled. Yeah, if you
Yes.
come to Doctoberfest. But I do find it engaging.
Gotcha.
It's completely different and fun. And everybody is having a good time.
Yeah.
And it's very informal.
Yeah.
It's bijou, isn't it? It's
Yes.
bijou.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did you go through the museum at all or in there?
I've been through the shop, but I think on Monday I'm staying over.
All right.
Maybe I shouldn't say this if it goes out before Monday.
It won't.
Oh, that's all right then. Ha ha. But on Monday I'm going to come back.
Okay.
And just spend a bit of time and go around the shop and have a chat with Keith and Janie, and that'll be
Excellent.
lovely. I really look forward to that.
Very,
But
very good.
I said during the panel, as you know, because
Yep.
he interviewed me, as you know. I said that everybody should be grateful and appreciate what Keith and Janie have done.
Yeah.
Because this is such a rare thing to make a Doctor Who shop work in America.
Right, in central Indiana too.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's a crazy
Indiana.
thing when I moved here.
I don't know what's
finding
wrong
it
with
out.
Indiana, everybody. You get it. Everybody keeps saying Indiana.
Indiana.
Does Indiana have a reputation in
Well,
America?
we're not Ohio, I guess. That's
I
one
don't
thing
know.
that I've heard.
Yeah.
So, but Ohio might say we're not Indiana.
Yeah,
I
not
don't
in
know.
Kansas anymore.
No, Indianapolis. I've enjoyed my time here. I moved here from Los Angeles and have not looked back once. I've rather enjoyed my. I wouldn't be working on Doctor Who documentaries in Los Angeles, to be honest with
Well,
you,
yeah.
probably. So
Maybe he should
There
have
you go.
stayed, everybody.
so things like that. But anything else you want to say, people, before we sign out?
No, I mean, I suppose, one has to do one's marketing and say,
Right.
if you know about Reeltime, or if you'd like to know about Reeltime, do go to our sales website. You can buy either DVD, download, or stream of our productions. There's a lot there. Go and have a look and test something and see if you'd like to participate.
Do we have a date for the USA tour one we talked about a bit?
We're hoping. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. I choke up when I'm talking about production.
That's emotional, I know.
I know. We're hoping to have it out for February.
Okay. Looking forward to it. I'm really excited for that one. That got some good stories.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, it's odd not, it's difficult to sit here and praise what you do because that's just so, it's so self-seeking.
Right.
But I'm very proud of a lot of the stuff we put out.
But when it's a documentary, it's other people are contributing, so
Yeah.
you're proud of the collective work of everybody, and
Absolutely.
without their stories, what do we have? You know?
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
and if it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be able to survive. So I'm always grateful.
Excellent. Oh, I appreciate your time, Keith, and enjoy the rest of your Doctoberfest.
Okay, I'm looking forward to a beer tonight.
Yeah, definitely some beer.
Yeah.
Well, a pint? Is that what we're saying? Right?
Well, I don't know if they do pints here in America.
Oh, wait, they have pints.
Yeah. Oh, I'll measure
Pint.
them then.
Yeah,
Good.
we'll measure them. All right, yeah, you'll measure. All right, thank you.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.